All in the Family was a 1970 television show famed for being able to confront controversial topics such as the Vietnam War, draft deserters, transvestites, menopause, homophobia, and so much more in a comedic fashion. Any show's most important aspect is its cast of characters, and this television show had a colorful array of them.
He was a bigot. He didn't like race. He didn't like politics. He was very cutting edge. A lot of people didn't like the show, or they either liked the show or didn't like the show. It polarized a lot of people. His wife was just a typical little, if you ever seen the show, she was just pathetic. Anything for Archie. And then of course he had a liberal son, which he hated because they were totally different in politics, and then his daughter, he couldn't believe why she married him.
The show was not afraid to talk about anything controversial happening in the real world. And at that time, it was very rare to see something like that on TV.
I think they were brave to bring something out like that in a public TV show at that time.
The show's bravery paid off, for it remained the most viewed primetime television show for 5 years running. Not only that, but altogether, the cast and crew earned over 36 Emmys, Golden Globes, and other awards.
He's considered one of the first sitcoms where you actually had a family, and it continued every week, and they developed those characters, and I think that's why it was so successful. Plus, they hit on nerve ending.
He had some good points, of course. I think my father watched it more for the comedies, but in the serious situations, Archie always made it funny. And across, or it's funny. I think they made it funny to make it's like something that tastes bad, so you eat a piece of candy after something tastes bad. It's like fixing the medicine, and the medicine they used was comedy.
This medicine was quite effective, for audiences were very perceptive to the show's messages and were influenced by it. Audiences would tune in day and night in order to hear Archie's hilarious rhetoric, but with his daily quips, viewers were also able to gain knowledge on numerous controversial topics.
Again, it was very political, and at the time we were in Vietnam, and he was very anti-Vietnam. So again, that was just very polarizing in the whole country. Either people, were for the soldiers, or they hated the soldiers.
Millions and millions of people in the United States watched it. Like I said, my dad watched it every night, religiously.
Yes, it was the #1 show for several years. So it was you go back to school after it was on, I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday night, I'm trying to remember, but that's what you talked about the next day.
All the viewers of the show had a different interpretation of its contents. It's what sparked so many discussions. One of the most influential episodes of this television show was titled Cousin Liz. This episode prevented the Briggs Initiative from taking place. This initiative prevented all homosexual teachers in the state of California from getting a job at a public school. Many people, though, were opposed to this episode, for it depicted something they believed should not have ever been on television.
I can understand where it was, because you didn't talk about that. Homosexuality, you didn't say anything about that back then. It was, they were still in the closet. So they thought it was wrong that it was on TV and for something that children could see. Because even though I was like 12, 13 at that point, because that was in the later episodes, because I know I was a teenager. I remember talking about it. I want to say I was 7th or 8th grade, so I was 12 or 13. And I remember my mom saying, the country's going to heck.
A variety of different people watched the show, for there was something for every type of viewer. Whether it be to watch for the comedy, politics, the satire, or to watch Archie yell politically incorrect comments for 20 minutes, there's something in the show for everyone.
My dad watched it for the politics, but as far as the racial thing, no, we never thought that was right.
My father watched it more for the comedy.
that was what was so ingenious about the show, because you had 4 different characters that were so radically different. And they'd all sit down, and then, Archie'd be just crazy this way, but Edith would bring him into the center, and then you'd have his son and his daughter, and they all had 4 different views, and that was the magic of the show.